Hello, everyone. Welcome to ELI, the only podcast in India where we bring a new founder on every episode to talk about their journey and their story of building a startup. And today we have with us Ronak Samantray, who is the founder of TakeMe2Space and the ex-co-founder of NowFloats. Hi, Ronak. Welcome to ELI.
Hi, Priyaranjan. And thank you so much for inviting. Glad to talk to another person from Odisha, by the way. That is
Yes,
super exciting.
yes. We will start our discussion from there. So tell us about your early life. Where did you grow up? Where did you study? And how did you sort of arrive at entrepreneurship? Because personally speaking, from my experience, Odisha is not a land of entrepreneurship. Uh, and yeah, things are changing slowly, but I think not many entrepreneurs I have seen from Odisha. So how did you arrive at entrepreneurship?
Thank you so much, Priyaranjan. Right. Yeah, so I was born in a city called Cuttack. If you know, in Odisha, there's a city
Yeah.
called Cuttack. I was born there. I think I studied in Odisha till class five, and my dad used to work in a bank, Bank of Baroda. So we keep getting transferred. So from class five to class 12, I was in Bokaro in Jharkhand.
Okay.
It was Bihar. That was my early bringing. But then Odisha has always been close to my heart because all summer vacations was always in Odisha. So Odisha
Mhm.
was always a fun place to be in. That's where you say, you spend your vacations.
Right.
Pretty close to my heart. And after school, I did my engineering also in Odisha, CET Bhubaneswar. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that was a fundamental shift. I mean, I bestow the whole fact that the reason I'm an entrepreneur is because of my college.
Okay.
Uh, because till then you're just in a house, right? When you go to college, you're away from home.
Mm-hmm.
You have to figure stuff yourself, right? Like
Right.
because you get whatever pocket money you get, the monthly fees you get, that never cuts it, right? So there I had to figure out, okay, how do I live my life, right? Like I would then see कि अच्छा किस कॉलेज में कहाँ पे कोडिंग कॉन्टेस्ट हो रहा है जहाँ पे कैश मिलता है.
Mm-hmm.
They're giving cash awards. So I
Wow.
would go to all this, and NIST Barampur में था. Then we had Silicon in Bhubaneswar. Then we had
Right.
CB. Then तुम्हारा ITER now, which is
So
SOA,
yeah.
SOA University, ITER. So I used to go to all colleges, and wherever there's a coding contest, win a cash prize. That
Mhm.
was the first stint at it. Second, at least in my batch, there were four strikes across 4 years,
Mm-hmm.
and strikes, ragging. I think that really had a fundamental impact on the personality, right? Like you
Okay.
stop being introvert and keeping things to yourself, and you focus on how to articulate your thoughts,
Okay.
right? And I think that's the first step towards entrepreneurship, right? You should know how to articulate things and put it forward.
Right.
uh, you can build the best product in the world. Okay, one advantage I had is I have been writing code since age 10, right? So
Wow.
of course, so I knew always how to write code. That was something which is very natural to me.
Mm.
But college, what it and then hence I not from a skill point of view, but from the entrepreneurship as an attitude. I think that came from a college where I learned the game of articulation.
Mm-hmm.
B, how do you get work done from people, right? Like, for example, in first year, I wanted to go to, I did go to IIT Bombay for a tech fest. Of course, I had to skip my classes, and in fact, उस time होता था unit test बोल के, like you had to give
Mm-hmm.
tests and all, and I skipped it. And my principal said, no, I'm not going to give you marks. So how do you convince them, the faculty, that boss, you let me? I'm anyway not going for time pass. I'm doing some work there, and how do you convince them, right? Like it's a game of managing people who are in faculty, right? Who are very senior to you
Mm-hmm.
without insulting them, right? Without getting into their shoes and without, because the end goal is to get the work done, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it takes, right? How do you sort of converse? How do you articulate things? How do you get stuff done from these faculty members? And also, that was this 4 years was that was life changing experience.
Mm-hmm.
uh, I was also in the placement cell, right? So and that got me exposure to the fact that we would write emails to companies that why they should come to our college for recruitment. So that's where I got I mean, without knowing, it's called cold calls, cold emails. And my
Mm-hmm.
first exposure to that thing, where a person whom I've never met, all we have is an email ID, right? How do
Right.
you sell your college? Sell your college as in sell the coolness
Mm-hmm.
of your college. You articulate stuff again.
Yeah.
So yeah, I learned cold emailing to people, cold calling. When those वो campus में मतलब placement time पे हुआ था ना लोग through
Mm-hmm.
hire. Then you go meet them. उनका stay, the operations part of it, right? Their stay has to be arranged. उनका सब बुके देने का,
Mm-hmm.
and you invite them to stage. So yeah, placement cell, then the tech fest. So operationally, cold emails, managing people, that sort of was like a training training ground for being an entrepreneur.
Mm.
So after college, I was very clear, right? कि भैया, जिंदगी में I have to build something and do something. I mean, at least I wanted to attempt something to build of my own.
Got it.
Uh, I mean, fortunately, of course, but unfortunately, I got into Microsoft. But the plan was to, I remember talking to Neela and another guy from Kids, right? कि hey, साथ उस टाइम robotics का बहुत जोश था मेरे को कि
Mm-hmm.
साथ robotics को कुछ करते हैं ऐसा
Okay.
भुवनेश्वर में. I had got placed into Mindtree. First company I was placed was Mindtree.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought कि नहीं वहाँ नहीं join करते, let's do something of our own. But then Microsoft happened,
Okay.
right? And then I thought कि नहीं नहीं. Then I got a little bit greedy, I guess. चलो मैक्सिमम ट्राई करते हैं लेट्स सी द वर्क एक्सपीरियंस राइट बिकॉज ऑलवेज इट हैज बीन ड्रीम कंपनी so that's where my college story ended and joined Microsoft. But then the what do you call the kid of the not
Bug.
the
Yeah.
yeah, the bug was always there no कि कुछ तो करना है जिंदगी में. And then you see, I mean, this was 2008 when I passed out, right?
Mm.
And 2000 I left Microsoft in 2011, again exactly 3 years. July 2008 I joined, July 2011 I left. um Interestingly, if you look at that time, Facebook was happening. You would see Facebook ads when you go to theater. Also, you have Facebook ads coming up,
Yeah.
right? Facebook was really pushing that. Why should you join the social network, right?
Right.
Movies में आता था, TV में आता था Facebook का, Twitter was going viral. India में Flipkart was e-commerce was happening,
Mm.
right? Again, niche verticals. मतलब not everybody, but then see, as computer science, we know what is happening, right? At least it is entering. E-commerce is starting to happen.
Mm.
B, uh, in college, we used to have that Nokia 3110, 2008 में
Yeah.
वो जो
Yes.
है ना बड़ा फोन. The moment we moved to job, वो HTC का फोन आने लगा, right? वो
Right.
Windows phone,
Yeah.
HTC Diamond was like 70,000 rupees. The
Correct.
next year fucking came iPhone, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then came apps. And that was like, dude, like the world was going crazy. Those 3 years were like every year something fundamental shift was happening in terms of user experience and the way we
Mm-hmm.
consumed internet.
Right.
Then I was like, yeah, kuch to, matlab, this is something happening. We have to do something. So yeah, we left my job at a whim. Just resign and we'll see what happens. I had 13 ideas on the board, started working on all of them. One
Mm.
of them was, of course, NowFloats, which stuck around. I'm not an entrepreneur who sort of decides कि मेरे को ये solve करना and then you leave your job.
Mm-hmm.
What I think is, I first decide that I have to do something in life. You leave your job, and then
Okay.
you figure out what to be done, right? Because uh, I just don't like. Okay, the reason I don't like spending time thinking about the idea is because that doesn't bring in a sense of urgency, right? If you want to
Mm.
be an entrepreneur, you have to have that sense of urgency from day zero, right? The moment you leave your job, you're in a clicking time bomb, right? Because you
Right.
have limited bank balance, you have nothing to do. When you wake up in the morning, you have no office to go. All your friends are going to office. You are sitting at home. Um, so yeah, and that sort of helped me. Right? You had a sense of urgency. Ki, bhaiya, I've left the job. Now what do I do? So
Mm-hmm.
you start focusing more. You start panicking more, and the sense of panic is important, right? I'll give you an example. Right, in my bedroom, there's always a poster of a Superman and a Batman. A big
Mm-hmm.
fan of, I'm a big fan of both of them.
Okay.
If you look at Superman is an example of how your strength can make you a superhero,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's what Superman is, right?
Right.
It's a exaggeration of his strength.
Yeah.
Batman, on the other hand, is an example of how your fear can make you a superhero, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you can tap into both your strength and your fear, uh, high probability that you'll become a superhero, right? Instead of figuring out कि मेरे को strength पे focus करना है कि fear पे focus करना है. So tap into both. Again, I
Mm-hmm.
play the safe game. So yeah, so I think I try to ensure that. So the skill I have is, of course, I can write code, right?
Mm.
That's the only strength I have in life. Uh, Everything else is a fear for me. So I try to ensure that the skill is maintained every day. I code, I still code, but the fear, I ensure that there's always a sense of urgency in me, right?
Mm.
Yeah, I keep pushing myself. Even if something is done, I try to do more. A sense of urgency really keeps me, at least as a personality, it helps me push forward. So yeah, that's how Nowfloat started. Started as a consumer app. Me and my roommates sort of started that.
Mm.
Then, all said done, I met my other co-founders who finally joined us. I think a year after.
Can you double down on the initial days of NowFloats? I want to understand how it happened. Because
Yes.
you were working with Microsoft. Nobody just simply leaves a job with Microsoft and to start something new.
So people, if you're going to leave, you just simply leave. There's no logic because ज़्यादा सोचोगे तो कभी नहीं छोड़ोगे, है ना?
Mm-hmm.
I remember I had just got an award. I left in. June, July. I just had got an award in March. I had got some 200% stock. And my manager is like, what the hell? Like, when I went and told him, I think I want to do a startup only. He was like, what the hell? Abhi
Mm-hmm.
tak to ye sab mila. And then, like, yeah, it's very counterintuitive, right? And I was sure that अच्छे टाइम पे छोड़ने का है ना ऐसा
Mm-hmm.
गंदा टाइम पे नहीं
Yeah.
छोड़ने का because at least Max would give me a what do you call a thing that वो plan B है चलो मतलब कुछ नहीं हुआ तो I can go back to my job, so that
Mm-hmm.
was the confidence I had. But anyway, long story short, so I just left my job on the whim. I had no idea, right? And I resigned and then told my parents. So everybody freaked out. What the hell? Like your reaction, everybody said, right? कि Max would कौन छोड़ता है? So
Right.
everybody thought कि I'm taking wrong decision. People started counseling me. I was like, dude, like, leave me alone. But yeah, it was not a well thought decision. It was a stupid decision, and I think I like to be stupid all the time. I mean,
Mm.
most friends we look at, I have very stupid opinions. But yeah, so that's what really helped me to leave the job. Otherwise, in no sane mind, you can leave Microsoft. But okay, that said, when I left, I think there was Pravashish, who was also my teammate. He also left. We started
Mm.
working together. My roommate, Jitu, he was my school friend. He was also at Microsoft. So he started helping me in coding. So yeah, that's how we sort of started working towards it. And then see as a code I never went out in the market saying that okay, hey, this raising capital, and I had no clue all these VCs and all. I've
Mm-hmm.
heard stories only. So what do you do? I came out of Microsoft. I had worked on Windows Phone. So first app that I built was a Windows Phone app. I don't know why, but yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it was a Windows Phone app. NowFloats ka first app. It was called Moving Floats the back in the day.
Okay.
And everywhere I used to go, I used to, and my hack was simple, right? If I have to meet somebody, I would go and give a Microsoft card,
Mm-hmm.
get into the meeting, and then show, okay, hey, by the way, I've left Microsoft, right? So,
Oh,
because Microsoft card, like, everybody used to give me meeting, right? They should think that कोई तो आया Microsoft से मिलने.
interesting.
If just give me meeting, and that was my any conference also. If I have to get somebody's attention, I'll give my Microsoft card first. Then when
Mm-hmm.
the person talks to me, I would say, by the way, I've left Microsoft. And this is like I would show my phone. I was to carry a Windows phone. This is me. This is what I. So my pitch was always my app. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
this is the app, and as I show people the app, that's how I sort of pitched. Never sort of pitched just words. Even today, take me to space. I always show engineer, no. So I always show things. This is not
Mm-hmm.
working, and let me know. So
Okay.
that now that I look back, that really helped me get trust in the market
Mm-hmm.
because I was not just an entrepreneur who was talking words, but I was more than entrepreneur. I was an engineer who was trying to show a product. Okay, guys, this is what I've built. This is what I'm building, and that people who did not know me, they would trust. It was easy for me to gain their trust. कि बंदा कुछ तो बोल रहा है, right? Like he's not a guy who's just talking. So yeah, that helped me gain trust. I met Jazz at a conference at CA. He was a vice president. Uh, Sort of kept meeting him for 2 3 months. He decided to leave CA. He was 40 years old. He left his job, joined me full time. Then met Nitin Jain, who was at Microsoft. I never worked with him before. All my co-founders who finally joined, I had never worked with them before ever. I didn't know them before, right?
Okay.
I just met them in conferences, and Nitin was great. We met in TGIF, and he had the entire business. Like, he's a crazy. Nitin is super crazy, right? He had the entire business plan ready after this one-time conversation. Neeraj, he was on a world tour. He was very senior. He was a creative director at Euro RSCG in Dubai.
Mm-hmm.
He was on a world tour. Came to have coffee. Said, "Hey, I'm going to help you with design." And then once he started helping us, he said, "Okay, this is I really like it." Joined us as a co-founder. So yeah, hence there are four co-founders like that. And thing was very my thing pitch was very clear. Hey, all I don't have cash, right? All I have is shares. So take as much shares as you can, but then no cash, and that helped. People just came for the idea and came for working and having fun.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and that's why I think that's the reason we stuck around for so long. Usually, if you look at 99% of the startups fail because co-founders split.
Yeah.
All of us sort of just enjoyed working. I think that drove. Of course, we used to have blood on the floor. We used to argue, but it was fun. It was
Okay.
fun argument, right? We used to chill. We
Got
used to argue. It was fun argument, and that sort of kept us going. I think we had of see building a startup is like a sine wave, right? There are good times, but there are what you observe is the down times, right? There are periodic downtimes that the company has when you don't have salary, when you don't have money to give to people, when you don't have, uh, yeah, there is a legal case somebody has done on you. Uh,
it.
there is a, uh,
Tell us about it. Like, what happened?
no, so I just tell you. So
Oh,
okay.
okay, okay.
For example, what cases? Uh, there are times when we didn't have. salary to give. We didn't have money to give salary, and so we had to let few people go. And I understand that when you let somebody go, because it's not their fault, right?
Yeah.
Because they have responsibilities and all that. So, you would get threatening calls in
Mm,
the night कि सर मैं आई मीन सर तो नहीं बोलते वो अलग वर्ड बोलते हैं बट सर
mm.
मैं ना आपके नाम पे सुपारी दे रहा हूँ so
Okay.
that is हमने ठीक है करो what do I tell वो फोन पे बोल रहा है सुपारी दे रहा हूँ करो अब
Mhm.
हम फायर के अब क्या ही बोलो सकते हो इंसान को राइट सो
Right.
but then I can say all that shit, but behind it, the heart is like shrinking, right?
Yeah.
The heart is shrinking. So, yeah, so you have to show something, but inside you can't really show that you're super worried or super scared. But yeah, so that was one. Then there was this customer, whatever said and done happened, they thought that we stole their IP. It
Mhm.
was a customer who used our website product, and they filed a legal case, stuff like that. And that just again, those are non-trivial, but then it just keeps impacting your head. When we don't have money, those are more interesting. When you don't have money, before you even let people go, right? For example, you might want to reduce people's salary. So
Mhm.
many times we did it voluntarily. Like, hey, this is the situation. Does anybody want to take a cut on the salary? So 25-30% people might say yes, yeah, sure, sure. Then it's a very difficult conversation to have.
Okay.
Uh, of course, for people whom I'm expecting it to reply, it is for them. But as founders, also, it's very difficult, right? Like me,
Mm.
Nitin, Chaz, Neeraj. It's not easy to write that email saying that, "Okay, hey, we don't have money," right? It shrinks your heart because at the
Mm.
end of the day, you don't want because it's not that I'm taking the money away. It's
Right.
literally don't have money, and you can see people are working hard every day. The sales guys are working hard, the engineering team is working hard, the support, the
Yeah.
HR, and you can see their faces. And let's say 30 days in a month, right? You as a founder, because you're exposed to all that, by the 15th of month, you already know कि भैया इस पैसा कम है. You
Mhm.
can't sit on days on. You wait, like, of course, we tell it a week before, but then you try to solve it, and that kills your head, right?
Yeah.
Because you're already stressed about it before. You already know you're the only person, the team who knows about that event is going to happen before the event has happened, right?
Mm. Mhm.
But you're meeting people every day, right? So you have to keep a straight face as though everything is fine.
Right.
And
Yeah.
that happens a few days. And finally, when you run out of all options, you know you have to tell people, right?
Yeah.
Ki, hey, best you to let people know. Oh
Mm.
man, those days are like super hard. Like I have, yeah,
Yeah. It's a internal conflict running in your
inside you.
yeah
Yes.
day in and day out. Uh,
Yeah. रात को नींद नहीं आता फिर you're like up all the
yeah. It's
day.
true. Tell me about it.
Yeah, like अच्छा revenue किधर से लेके आएगा इंसान like you wherever the enterprise customers are MNC whether the bill is pending you try to call them कि hey just clear our invoices and all that yeah I think and those are the stories right people talk about all the good stuff but that those down moments are what defines you it stays you with forever and the decisions you take there sometimes it of course works but sometimes it doesn't work as well
Right.
right
Right.
and which doesn't work goes in social media
Mhm.
it's like किया उसने
Yeah.
and that sort of becomes a negative side and yeah like I remember वो क्या होता है glass door right
Mm.
glass
Yeah.
door so
Right.
there are
Right.
stuff so there are stuff written ki and I have said those times right ki hey life is work and people have said in Glassdoor, in this company, there's no respect for work-life balance. They say life is work. But the context was this. कि सब जिंदगी में लगा हुआ था, I used to tell people,
Mhm.
right? Boss,
Yeah.
work is life. Life is
Correct.
work. And things, wait, people who don't agree, those things will go on Glassdoor. People who agree, that's fine, right? Yeah, we used to go to like 100 people. At the exit, we were 1,000 people. And there
Mhm.
were, we had like 10 people. So the company went through a lot of flux.
Okay.
That was fun. So yeah, so NowFloats was that. We went from, of course, zero customers to 50,000 paid customers at one point in time.
Wow.
At a point in time, we were acquiring around 5,000 paid customers a month.
Mm.
So it was a great journey. The distribution was a big learning curve, at least for me, because being a tech guy, I thought, कि अच्छा तुमने अपना product, those misnomers we have, right, as engineers, कि
Mm.
product बना तो बाकी बिक जाएगा.
Correct.
But what I primarily learned is a company is successful because of primary two legs. One is product and one is GTM, the business,
Mhm.
the revenue focus, right? So it's very important that the company has to innovate on both the aspects, both the product and revenue. If you just have a good product and no revenue model, it doesn't work, and vice versa also doesn't work,
Got it.
right? Both the things have to be good, and then you can sort of kill it. And that was a good learning from Offloads. Uh, there, if you look at, we had to do feet on the street because in India, MSMEs don't pay coming online, they don't swipe. There were other companies who showed कि देखो Nowfloats का FOS model है, हमने ऐसा free में बेचेंगे, right? There are a lot
Mm.
of this. apps that came up, one starting with K,
Yeah,
one starting with D.
yeah.
They
They've
all.
been featured on our podcast, by the
Oh, I'm so sorry. No,
way.
the companies, I really like those founders, great the founders, and they went viral in terms of they got some 10 million, 5 million downloads. But the point of it is free, right? And and we got a lot of flack because of that internally from the board. कि देखो 5 million MSM use करे तुम कैसा 50,000 बोल रहे हो? You guys are
Mhm.
not talking in millions. But ठीक है. And we used to ठीक है. End of the day, they're doing it, right? Whatever they're doing it. But what I
Right.
realized, and we had done the same thing when we started back in 2011, we also gave it for free. लेकिन our biggest learning was when you give something for free, people say, say yes, but then they don't use it. एक दो महीना use करके बंदा फिर भूल जाएगा. The moment you even take 1 rupee from the person, right? They
Mm.
they'll come and hold your collar कि भाई मेरे को
Yeah.
नहीं समझ रहा है या ROI नहीं मिल रहा पैसा वापस दो.
Right.
From that's why I think this thought process Nitin brought in, my other co-founder, he brought in this thought process because being an engineer, even I used to think yeah, free में देते हैं, right? The
Mm.
same mistake that my competition did, even I did the same. Initially, I thought कि free में कौन पैसा देगा website के लिए कौन पैसा देगा, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Nitin said no, start with and we should charge 2,000 rupees a year. As first starting, but then of course you move to 20,000 rupees per year. There's a story behind the price discovery. But yeah, so that sort of, and I could see my competition, right? They all did 2,000 rupees per year. Now they're at 20,000 rupees per year because that is a sweet spot. Like
Mm-hmm.
you're going and meeting an MSME, whether you're charging 5,000 or 20,000 rupees, it takes the same amount of time. The
Right.
three meetings it takes, right? So set up 20,000 rupees low because whatever the product, the MSME is going to take that much time to decide, right? So rather optimize for 20,000 rupees rather than 5,000 rupees. And they
Right.
will anyway ask for discount. So if your MRP is 20,000 rupees, your ARPU will be around 15 to 17,000 rupees,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's how the market works
Right.
across India, right? And that was it. So we were present across 45 cities in India. Almost all states we had a presence. So that gave me an understanding of how merchants behave, how businesses behave across all these states, right? How do you crack Gujarat? How do you crack Kerala? How do you crack Delhi or Uttar Pradesh? Fundamental different behaviors,
Right.
right? Kerala is a place where, at least Tamil Nadu, Kerala is a place where the merchant would use he would try to have a deep understanding of your product, all the features and all that. You go to Delhi and उसको धंधे से मतलब है भाई मेरे को कितने कॉल आएंगे बताओ. That's literally the question he would ask. कि
Mm-hmm.
आपका प्रोडक्ट लेता हूँ मेरे को धंधा में क्या होगा. So different conversation. गुजरात में it's like बाकी कौन यूज करता है बताओ.
Right.
उसको ना प्रोडक्ट से मतलब है ना आरओ से मतलब है. बाकी कौन यूज करता है बताओ. Right? So interesting. So like in the good part of Gujarat is you crack few after that the market opens up, but the first few takes time, right?
Right.
So yeah, stuff like that. And Tamil Nadu is a very family, very like the region I really like. Sonder बोल के बंदा था. He used to be our RM. When you go to their office, वो सब साथ में बैठ के खाना खाते हैं, right? And he runs it like a family. He
Mm-hmm.
treats all his team members like family. Very different. And so it's like a potluck happening every day, right? And it's fun. Very different. I got to see so many cultures. Good learning from NowFloats days. Pune was again very different. So anyway, so that was NowFloats. What else went wrong?
Yeah, before we move on to the next venture, would love to hear about your story of exit. Like, I think this is a particular space which is growing in India. At least now, after a lot of education, SMBs are willing to pay for software, and and because of the all the e-commerce players coming in, even offline players have realized we need to digitize things and all. It's a growing space. Why did you exit?
No, so if you look at, we were having 1,000 people, we had a good amount of scale, and then suddenly we find a partner called Reliance who says, who I matlab, I've met a lot of business owners in India, and I don't think I have ever met anybody else other than the Ambani family who, I mean, that their depth of understanding of Indian consumers is uncomparable,
Mm-hmm.
right? The gut feeling is like crazily aligned to what India needs. Uh, and there's a reason I say gut feeling. Maybe that gut feeling is driven by so many years of experience or data or I don't know. But in the meeting, you can see that the suggestions they give, the ideas that Mr. Ambani has, is they understand India by their fingertips, right? And that was very interesting. I don't think I myself ever knew that. And then the scale, the number of zeros they look at,
Okay.
right? They're not finding 50 crores is nothing, right? Or even
Mhm.
500 crores is nothing. So wanted to sort of experience that, right? For the first time, we're getting a partner who's ready to show us that scale rather than because 50,000 kilo, we have already 1,000 people. And suddenly with Reliance, you get a huge distribution network, right? And the reach in India and the brand is trusted, right? So we got integrated into Geo Fiber, right?
Mhm.
So Geo is a very trusted brand. The fact that your product is getting integrated there and getting to so many customers,
Right.
why would we say no? So it was more from the business scale point of view. We got very excited.
Mhm.
Had acquisition offers from other companies as well outside India, but then this was the most concrete plan of scaling things. We just could see that okay, with this partner we can scale the
Got it.
really fast. And so yeah, the Reliance that way was a great partner to scale up our distribution. And very fast decision. I mean, once they sort of called us, of course, initially it took 3 4 months for them to review and all that. But
Mhm.
I think the I mean, also review के बाद the decision making was very fast. Like from the last set of meetings with the leadership team to the number, this is what the offer on the table. It was like 24 hours or 48 hours.
Got it.
So that was crazy. Of course, then the due diligence takes another time.
Mhm.
But uh, crazy guys. They work till 2 a.m., 3 a.m., man. Like Mr. Ambani still works late
Wow.
in the night. Family, that's called the family office, right? They still work late in the night. He's a workhorse, right? And I have never met anybody so sharp in terms of business acumen, business acumen across domains. The guy runs oil and gas, the guy runs telco, and he understood SaaS. The feedback these guys gave on how we should improve was crazy.
Right.
And yeah, my bad that I had underestimated his acumen. I thought कि okay, he was a traditional family run office. इसके पास लोग इतने सारे हैं तो होता होगा. लेकिन that guy personally is super smart, super sharp.
Did
Uh,
you meet him face to face? Like,
yeah,
did you sit across the table? Oh,
yeah, yes. Let's not get there, but yeah, you get exposure to that, and that is super crazy, right? Uh,
okay.
the business acumen again. I would keep iterate. There's a reason. I mean, you see it up so close. There's a reason why they're such a large organization. They work super hard, super smart guys, very uh, and very India centric.
Mm-hmm.
उनको Mr. Ambani's true belief is that he believes that India grows, Reliance will grow. So
Mm-hmm.
his thoughts are all about India, 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 India. That you'll hear so much,
Okay.
right? Very India first thought process, not like, hey, let's go export, let's capture that market. Of course, that they do, but then his personal condition is always around India, so that makes it super fun.
Got it.
Yes, all the decision making happens from top to bottom, and that makes Reliance very fun. So yeah, that was my Reliance experience, and that's why we chose Reliance.
Got it. All right. So, just one more question around this particular venture. So you said you've been coding from age of 10 years, and sometimes the knowledge of coding is a core differentiator for a founder. I think it sort of fast tracks your entrepreneurship process. You can build your product yourself. And you also said that during your engineering, you had, the placement sale experience where you meet the recruiters. It's a selling experience as well. So as a founder, these are the two skills you need. You should be able to build, and you should be able to sell. Uh, but recently, what has happened is the coding is not a necessary skill anymore. There are tools out there which can code for you. Windsurf, Cursor, a lot of AI tools have come up. What would be your comment on that? How has coding helped you as an entrepreneur over the years? What I'm trying to understand is because the coding knowledge and skill sets have become democratized now, what would be the impact of that on entrepreneurship?
Good question. So if you look at it's important in life to have that one passion for me towards coding. Now, you're right on that. Now, coding helps you, writing code helps you think in workflows, right? Like when you look at anything in life, a flowchart pops up in your head, right? So everything just becomes a flowchart in your head. Humans are flowcharts, the company is a flowchart, and you have these branches. Everything becomes a tree and a graph, right? And that's what your visualization becomes. Uh,
Mhm.
I mean, see, what is code? Writing code, right? It's an expression of logic, right?
Okay.
You use Java, C++, Python, whatever language you use. That's just a syntax to write logic. Like we speak in English, French, Tamil, whatever, Malayalam, Hindi. Those are expression of emotion, right?
Hmm.
Whatever feeling we express in that language. Only the words change. If you understand Malayalam, you can speak in Malayalam. So similarly in coding, there's so many programming languages, the words, the syntax changes, but the expression of logic remains constant. So yes, as a coder, the advantage is that was my core skill, but I could understand everything else in a very logical format. So my understanding of business, HR, operations becomes very workflow driven, very logic driven, right? So that definitely helped me at an upper hand there.
Mhm.
Uh, Sometimes there are some things I take more time to process, like for example, design.
Mm-hmm.
That's not also there, right? It's taste. It comes with the more better design you see, the better your taste becomes, right? You're starting from a room to the product you design. So yeah, I can't force fit the logical of everywhere. Something is creativity, something is art, and there you have to take it at the art level itself. Coming to what coding has become now, it's like, okay, at TakeMe2Space, if you look at all my web applications, 98% code is written by AI, right? We use Claude and all the codecs and CLIs and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, but the way I see vibe coding, the industry is called vibe coding, right? Now, vibe coding, mein, I still feel it's like I'm working with a super sharp intern.
Mm-hmm.
But that's about it, right? It's like it's a super sharp intern. आप उसको जो बोलोगे uh, that person does it for you, and very clean job of execution,
Mm-hmm.
but the person doesn't have ability to innovate. uh,
Okay.
I am not able to still expect innovation from my intern, right?
Mm-hmm.
When I say innovation, it can suggest ideas, but they are like very
Okay.
trivial ideas, like nothing like, oh frick, I didn't matlab, that has not happened yet. Because
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's so you need to be successful. Like we use vibe coding a lot. To be successful in vibe coding, you still need an expert coder who can give clear instructions and also know, after the AI writes a code, where to look for errors.
Mm-hmm.
Can't ask AI to look for errors, right? Because AI has already written the code. If you have experience, it helps you to know कि कहाँ पर mistake किया होगा पक्का इसने, right? And you look at exactly that piece of code and you'll find that error, or you may not find that error, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is important, right? And that's where you can really excel. Otherwise, dude, the hallucination AI has is not a joke, right? A basic example I'll give you: cyclic import of headers, right? Let's say it is priya.h and ronak.h, right? And priya.h is into ronak.h and ronak.h is
Mm-hmm.
into priya.h. The compilation था उसको you give it to वो उसको fits in, it just
Yeah,
hallucinates,
I've seen that happening.
right? So cyclic headers it can't handle. It can't handle when you have a let's say some a constants.h file, and you have two different, let's say a driver file and a car file. They're importing the same. वो कोड लिखते ना भूल जाएगा बीच में.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Same value redefined somewhere else as a
Yep.
different variable name, right? So because the context window is small, right? Because the context window is small, whatever the 200,000 tokens, right? That's why it doesn't remember too much thing in one go, or it doesn't remember the right important things in the context, because
Got
it
it.
doesn't know how to have a prioritized context list, right? And that's what human brain is super sharp, right? Human brain may we somehow remember while doing a job, उसके लिए relevant information
Yeah.
pops up in our head somehow, right?
Yeah.
Uh, but not that we remember everything. We also make mistakes, but AI is still a super sharp intern.
Mm-hmm.
So you use it smartly. It's a great tool. I think I finished Orbit Lab, Orbit in flat 2 months, something that would have taken me almost 6 months to build, or maybe more than that. And from zero to go live, you should check out orbitvo.m2.space. The entire thing 98% written by AI,
Mm-hmm.
right? But it took me 2 months because I had to iterate, and 2% was written by me. That but 2% के लिए, yeah, it just you should know where to look.
Yes.
So that's what. So world is changing. You're right. World is like, I tell people, right? Calculator. पहले आप वो वैदिक मैथमेटिक्स करो, ऐसा करो,
Mm-hmm.
abacus, वो सब करो.
Abacus.
Calculator काय को ऐसा हाथ हिलाना. Don't move your hands. Just use the calculator. No, you go much more faster. No Vedic mathematics, no abacus required. Just freaking use a calculator. Nobody. I mean, now if you look at, I'm sure all the engineering colleges exam में calculator allowed है. Right? You don't
Mm-hmm.
have to do the maths, Vedic mathematics in your head. You can use a goddamn calculator. Right? Same thing happen in coding. You don't have to write a for loop, a basic switch case. You don't have to write that. That is AI can do that. All you have to do is focus on the logic.
Mm-hmm.
You become sort of a architect very soon. And that's what it gives you, right? As a college student, if you understand vibe coding very well, you go from a student to architect directly. You don't
Mm-hmm.
go through the journey. So it's I think you will over time, the next 2 3 years, you'll find super smart architects that will come out who would know how to use AI very sharply and build products fast, and that's the way to go. What will be really cool is, I think, if product managers can pick up that role, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they have I mean, you're a product guy, right? You have a very deeper understanding of what consumer needs.
Right.
In your head you have a clear vision of your product, which an engineer definitely doesn't have. I'm sure you hate engineers that यार मैं तुमको बोल रहा हूँ काहे नहीं सुन रहे हो. Like, this is not what I wanted, right?
Yeah.
As a product guy, you always have the confident engineering team, right? And yeah, so A, you have consumer understanding. B, you have a clear vision of your product. All you need to know is, it's like talking to the engineering team. How do you talk to engineering team? If you know
Mm-hmm.
that, replace the engineering team with an vibe coding agent,
Right.
right? You should know what instructions to give, what to test, what kind of test to, or ask the
Mm.
AI to test, how to structure database. Yeah, so those are the new kind of roles that develop. I think those manual testing, looking at some, all the jobs where you look at a functional spec and write code, they'll all disappear.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That will all be done by AI, right? So yeah, the future is all about. Even in fact, you should in my LinkedIn, I had put a okay. I don't want to hire software developers anymore. I want to hire vibe coding developers, vibe coders, who know. Like in वहाँ पे भी problem है, right? Uh, I tell you, I could not hire it. I got so many applications. I didn't hire a single one.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them just know how to use a tool.
Right.
Like, dude, learning Windsurf, learning Cloud Code is not. It's like you telling me that back in the day, you telling me मेरे को Eclipse आता है. What the hell
Mm.
do I do with Eclipse? तुमको Java आता है कि नहीं बताओ ना यार. मतलब can you
Um,
write code? Just because you know VS Code or Eclipse or some ID, develop an environment doesn't make you a developer.
right.
And vibe coding is that just because you know how to use a Windsurf or a Cloud Code doesn't make you a vibe coder. It's like using the development environment, using the tool.
Yeah. Yeah.
You getting your point?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got your point.
So
Uh,
vibe coders अभी मिलते नहीं market में. I
Correct.
really want to hire vibe coders.
Correct. One additional point I would also make here. So you gave the intern example. So now the all the coding tools are at the intern level, but it's also evolving.
Yep,
With say GPT-5, it will graduate to associate level. With the token, you gave what is limiting it? It's a token context window and the amount of we
absolutely.
can pass. So
And it should also, so one is context window size, and B is while it is executing, it should parallelly be thinking. Today, that doesn't happen. The aha moment doesn't happen. So that's what will lead to innovation. So anyway, you're right. Over time, it will go, and I hope it happen sooner than later. But it will make our life. I think what we used to do as engineers, we used to take 6 months. AI will keep reducing the time span,
yeah,
right? So what used to be done with 100-member team can be done with 10-member team.
yeah,
But coding, a coder's thought process is very important. That doesn't disappear. You still need to understand what's a workflow, what is a logical way of thinking things, being able to decide a tree. Because, see, logical thinking helps you navigate chaos
right,
in
right.
a structured and in a scientific fashion, right?
Mhm.
Now that I'm doing space, it also the coding helps me, right? I can understand. I used to suck in all this physics, chemistry, okay, like, but then now it's all that, right? But then my coding skills helps me understand how to map things at my right places, how to
Mhm.
solve a puzzle, right? So yeah, I really hope that. And AI should not stop at coding, right? One biggest problem I see during the space vertical is schematics. PCB
Mhm.
schematics. Why on earth there is not a Vibe schematics platform? Why on earth there's not a Vibe routing platform? And I see, I understand that coding mein open source was a big deal. GitHub was there. Your check-ins were there, commits were there, the bug stories were there. So when that AI was trained, it knew the knowledge, what was wrong with the knowledge, and how was it fixed. All that story it had to train itself.
Mhm.
Electronics में होता है नहीं. Electronics में you design the schematic and Altium or whatever software, you print it, मतलब fabricate it and do your board bring up outside, right? That information is not captured in the software anymore.
Right.
So that knowledge is missing. So I really hope, please somebody build a Vibe schematic platform. There's Flux AI, but it's not that there yet. Maybe it'll evolve. I'm really hoping.
Mhm.
Like AI needs to come to CAD design. Why should somebody build a circle, extrude it, उसमें ऐसा hole करो काय को? Why?
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense. AI needs to solve that.
Correct. Correct.
Schematics, routing, CAD design, your simulation softwares. Why should I learn MATLAB, man?
Yeah,
You
I
don't know
think it
how
is
to use
coming
one.
also. I was speaking to a friend he who uses CAD software. He was saying that a lot of new AI plugins and features are coming.
Jaldi आने का. It's like, no, you're right. It needs to come and it needs to come fast. Because as an entrepreneur, my life will become so faster. I can execute things faster. See,
Yeah.
startup is all about speed, right? And these tools help us execute things super fast,
Right.
right? अभी hence I'm desperate. Like I'm already most of my thing is written vibe coding. I really want to replace all this nonsense schematic tools with vibe schematics where I need only one. So I don't want to have a 50-member team. I want one really smart electronics person who uses vibe schematics and does a schematic for us, right? Uh, Simple things like a shunt register. शंट रजिस्टर होता है ना, आई नो इन मिलियंस ऑफ इयर्स भैया, हर बंदा अभी भी बैठा कैलकुलेट करता है कि शंट रजिस्टर का वैल्यू कितना होना चाहिए फॉर करंट सेंसिंग. क्यों? I somehow don't like it. It's like yeah, back in the day coding, right? So those things need to solve. AI needs to come in the core engineering aspect as well. It is touching waters, but
Mhm.
it is not there yet what vibe coding has achieved in terms of accuracy, right? Vibe coding at least gone to intern level. AI is, in
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
engineering part is not even there. It's very pre-exploratory,
Right.
beta stage. So that's why the Flux AI is the biggest one, but still there. I would not trust the output of Flux AI right now.
Mhm.
Uh, but those and I think that's a great scope for Indian entrepreneurs to attempt. Rather than using AI on SaaS, please build AI for engineering practices.
Mm.
Everybody's going after again the same thing: healthcare, mess up business BI tool, business intelligence tool. I'll do a distribution warehouse management tool using AI. ठीक है करो लेकिन solve fundamentally because that is where innovation is required. uh, Building AI for schematics is not a trivial, it might seem trivial, it is not trivial because the knowledge is missing, the data set doesn't exist, so you require some fundamental innovative thought process to build that thing with such a high accuracy, right?
Mm.
Coding was thing, and yeah, anyway, so I think that is a big space. If I were to do a startup now and I have to do startup in pure software only, I would pick up AI and core engineering softwares,
Got it.
engineering practices, sorry.
All right. So now let's talk about your recent startup, which is into space. I am really curious to understand why space, because it's so different, so new from what you have been doing over the years. Is this your Elon Musk movement or maybe a Jeff Bezos movement? So I see this pattern when, when founders become very successful at what they have been doing, they suddenly, want to do something around space. Uh, so tell us about it.
Partly true, but I am nowhere compared to those big guys. Uh, yes, so if you look at, I've been writing code since age 10, now since a long time it has been. One thing I was clear out on offloads that I did not want to do something pure software.
Hmm.
I was like, it's done and dusted, right? Abhi software is everywhere. You tell me a segment, there is a SaaS play happening already.
Right.
I like, okay, I'm a very low IQ person, so I like areas where there are less competition today,
Hmm.
and gives me an edge so I can build. I can work hard towards it. So by the time the competition increases, I'm already there. Right.
Hmm.
When I started offloads, India was not talking about getting businesses online. People say, what the hell you're talking about? I remember talking to VCs. They were like, India में Google Map कोई नहीं use करेगा.
Hmm.
Right? India is a roll down your window country, they used to tell us. कि यहाँ पे इसको रास्ता चाहिए, मतलब you want to navigate, you roll down your windows and ask people. You can't
Right.
use Google Maps. That's the feedback we used to get. But look at now, right? And so yeah, those are the segments I like. Jump in the field early, do something, work hard, and that becomes a differentiator. So space, after 2019, it was fun at Reliance, but I thought, what next in life? And that's where I had four domains that I really was excited about: space, quantum, CRISPR, and humanoids, right? So again, as usual, started working on all four of them. Space sort of stuck around, right? And space seemed interesting to me because A, I was a coder. B, I was an engineer who had cash,
Hmm.
but nobody gave me access to a satellite. Right? I could not get access. All people used to give me is, "Ye satellite ka data, ye le lo." Arre?
Mm.
It's like you telling me that I had this in class 5, I remember, right? When I went to Bokaro, all the kids knew how to write code. I had no clue of writing code in class 5. The first time I went to a computer lab, my friend, he wrote the code. You know what my job was? To press enter. It was that embarrassing, right? कि वो कोड लिखेगा, मतलब लोगो था उस टाइम, लोगो में you write one line and you press enter, that the turtle sort of moves at FD20 RT90, right? My job was press, and that was in my space movement right here.
Hmm.
uh, Only if you're working at ISRO, NASA, that's when you get access to satellites. As an outsider, as a non-space person, all I get access to is the satellite data.
Right.
Why can't I write a code to the satellite? It's an electronic object. Why can't I get buys at that time and make it my own? Like today, of course, you can with JWST, right? If you're a super smart engineer, scientist, you get access to JWST, right? You
Hmm.
can turn and all that, right? But why can't everybody do it, right? And that is what got me excited. Okay, I have to solve this problem. If humans were to become a spacefaring species, you need to get access to everybody. So hence, take me to space, right? So my intent is to ensure that everything that we do as a company should be accessible to all and affordable to all, because accessibility doesn't come at $1 million per unit price. The
Hmm.
market says
Hmm.
user. So to make it affordable and you to make it accessible. So whatever we do as a company will always be open for all. It'll never require a KYC from a customer. So that's why if you look at our value props operate at in a specification where no country has any problem with that specs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm operating at my satellite cameras operate at 9 meter per pixel. Today, the world is at max size of 30 centimeter per pixel,
Mm-hmm.
right? So people laugh at us, "Arey, arey, kya tum purana spec bana rahe ho?" But our differentiator is not that I'm building a Planet Labs or a Pixel or a Galaxy or a Maxar or an Airbus, right? Our aim is to build infrastructure which everybody uses. Today, I can bet you go and sign up for Maxar, you will not get sign up. It's not that everybody gets access to Maxar, right? You have to have KYC and so on and so forth. You have to work with the partner of Maxar. You should know how to play that game. And
Mm-hmm.
that is not the industry should exist. And that's what we want to change as taking to space. Point is to take people's ideas to space, ensure that everybody can upload code to any satellite, run their application satellite, whatever they want, right? And that's how it started. Uh, and affordability, as I said, accessibility was the first premise. Second was affordability, right? So I started doing the maths. Ki, hey, if this is the idea, I can buy a satellite, put it on orbit, and make it accessible, right? But the maths didn't work out. The satellites today are so costly, right? And hence decide to build a satellite in my house, and that really worked. So I've been working for the last 4 years. The company is officially 1 year old, but as a company, if you go to the website, we have like 24 plus satellite subsystems and sensors that are built indigenously,
Okay.
right? And the thought process is simple. We want our customers to get an extremely affordable pricing because we offer satellite as a service, right? At $2 per minute, right? As a customer, let's say you are interested to do crop health monitoring for Odisha. You
Right.
don't need to buy data. All you need to know is the crop health index, right? So when the satellite passes over Odisha, you upload your code. It captures the data, does the processing, and gives you the inferences, right? So you
Mm-hmm.
save a lot of money, right?
Right.
And you're paying for satellite time and not for satellite data, right? So yeah, that's the game we are trying to play, and we are sort of, technically speaking, we are building inferencing infrastructure, an AI inferencing infrastructure in the lower Earth orbit. Because
Mm-hmm.
when it's a data center in space, it's a very generic use case, but the current business is around AI first compute because AI is sort of, it's asynchronous compute, right? Because it's not synchronous. You're calling an API in the satellite and getting the result.
Mm-hmm.
You are tasking the satellite to do something and getting the result after the task is completed. So it's an asynchronous workflow versus a synchronous workflow, right? So all the use case that will be solving will be asynchronous compute workloads, where the user is fine with non-real time.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so that's the plan. We already did two space missions. One was to do radiation shielding. That was RSEM because again, coming affordability, I cannot take radiation hardened and the space grade electronics and make my satellite because the satellite cost will go up and I have to charge more money to my users.
Mm-hmm.
All my components are terrestrial grade components. Hence, how do you protect it from radiation? We have a radiation shielding material that helps reduce the total radiation getting into the satellite. So yeah, so that helps us do RSEM. That was a radiation shielding. Second was a tech demonstration of India's first AI lab in space. Two mission objectives. One was to test the protocol, and B, to test all the subsystems and components that we had built.
Mm-hmm.
So that went well. Now in the next PSLV, our orbital satellite is flying, which will be a 3 year mission.
Mm-hmm.
That's cost touchwood. So yeah, this year we'll have two satellites in orbit. Starting 2027, we'll be having six more in orbit. So the point is to eventually get to, so today we want to operate a capacity of 250 watts of compute capacity in orbit.
Okay.
The next jump will be uh, around 100 to 200 kilowatts of compute capacity. After that, some 10 megawatt of compute capacity. And later, we want to move to a gigawatt of compute capacity,
Wow.
right? Because computing is net power, right?
Mm.
So yeah, we want to go step by step from watts to kilowatts to megawatt to gigawatt, right? It's a journey because everything requires a different engineering problem to be solved,
Mm.
and to make money during the journey, right? When I say make money, make revenue. I just don't. b- Yeah, you can call me typical Indian that just go who wants very revenue focused. I get this feedback from a lot of VCs. Hey, you're too focused on revenue. ठीक
Mm.
है I say yes I am कोई गलत नहीं है उसमें especially people who come from outside India, VCs who have been in the Silicon Valley ecosystem, they don't understand the revenue focus, right? Because the thought process in many countries are different. They focus कि build something big, revenue बाद में सोचना,
Mm.
right? But maybe just by the virtue of the baggage of the experience, as people call it, uh, I've seen that you have the sine wave, right? You have ganda time. Not every day is a good day. The rainy days, right? In
Mm-hmm.
rainy days, nobody comes to help you. You don't get money from your friends. You don't get money from VCs. You don't have anything unless you have cash in bank. You are screwed. So it's important to be revenue focused. I am not ashamed of it. And but yeah, one thing we're clear that we will never do as TakeMe2Space, we'll never do services. We will never do SPMs. We call it special purpose machines. Like
Mm-hmm.
किसी के लिए ऐसा niche machine नहीं बनाने का. We
Mm-hmm.
build products. Consumers are interested, they buy our product or they don't buy. Like for example, everything that goes in a satellite, all the components that goes into our satellite is also available for other satellite builders to buy.
Okay.
Go to our website, there's something called satellite shop, and that is my cash cow. Now
Mm-hmm.
people don't understand, "Kya if you are building that IP for your own satellites, which is unique, why are you giving it to others?" I'm like, dude, it helps me sell, it helps me make money, right? It's a revenue stream. I'm not a satellite component developer, but then being in the market, taking the accountability of customer success is a great pressure to have, right?
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, I think as startups, we lose direction. When we are too much into R&D, हम ऐसा 4-5 साल रिसर्च करते रहोगे तो फिर कुछ नहीं होना. You are not grounded. You are not close to your customers, right? So it's important that however small value prop it is, however small money you make, that's okay, but keep making money from customers, not from VCs. That's the most bullshit thing, right? Running the company on customers' revenue is the right thing to do. Running the money on somebody else's capital is the worst thing to do. Again, I'm not saying I've been following my own practices. Of course, I have raised capital, but I don't like it. I rather any day prefer making that money from customers and running the company on its own. So yeah, TakeMe2Space as a company is very revenue focused, and of course we are engineering focused as well. We know what to execute, but every year you will see touchwood our revenue going up, a number of customer bases going up,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, we innovating around that. So that is what will differentiate us from any other space company, at least in Indian ecosystem.
Got it. Uh, I was just, envisioning the amount of compute power that will be up in the air or above the cloud through satellites. You said now 20 to 50 watts, then 100 kilowatt, and then gigawatts. So just curious to know, is this the future of data centers? Will the future data centers be built in space only? Is that the future of cloud computing and AI and so on?
Future of compute, whether it definitely will be beyond terrestrial, if I may say so. It will not be stuck to terrestrial data centers only. Now, why I say I didn't use the word space, because the next frontier can be underwater, under earth, or it can be space. There are three different environments only, right? Outside terrestrial. So you can build it on Earth's crust, or you can
Mm-hmm.
go below Earth's crust, which is close. Then you can tap into the geothermal. If you can dig, let's say 20 or 50 kilometers deep into Earth, you get access to Earth's heat, which is infinite source of energy,
Right.
right? Or you go undersea, then it's a sink, it's a thermal sink. Or you go space, you get access to sun, it's infinite source of energy, and without any atmospheric listing, no weather, no cloud cover, no maintenance, no dust,
Right.
and all that,
Yeah.
right? So space, undersea, under earth are three key environments where you can look at, and you would see compute going there because uh, Facebook, अभी किसका था? OpenAI. Today morning I was reading a news. They signed a $30 billion per year deal with Oracle. आज
Mm-hmm.
ही I was reading news. Why? Because they want 4.5 gigawatt of compute capacity annually.
Mm-hmm.
India as a country, we total have 4 gigawatts.
Okay.
So if you look at the future is a company who is able to, because I think the mathematics, which is AI, mathematics has reached a stage where if you can compute your logic at such high, like as a supercomputer, you have better inferencing models that can be created, right? And so every country is going to jump that bandwagon, which
Mm-hmm.
means it will be terrestrially impossible to scale the amount of energy required to power this computational needs. Again, from an asynchronous point of view, as consumers, we are happy with the phone. We don't want a 4 gigawatt compute in our house.
Mm-hmm.
वो कभी नहीं होगा, right? But that 4 gigawatt computing capability makes our mobile phone experience much simpler.
Mm-hmm.
Our synchronous workflow much simpler, right? All the analytics we get, the predictive and actions we get is because somebody spent 4 gigawatt of power to build that AI model, right? So yeah, so the computing needs asynchronous workflows. Asynchronous computing need will fundamentally skyrocket with over time. New models will come. Abhi, if you look at, there is a pre-training happening. There's a post-training happening. There's a training. There's reasoning attached after the inferencing is done. Reasoning is getting everywhere, right? Uh, so that's is literally becoming a human, right? So yeah, the computing needs to go up, and we believe that terrestrially the answer is not there. वो बहुत जल्दी flat हो जाएगा. It's just that the unit economics has to be cracked for other environments, and then it'll scale.
Mm. Yeah, it's also very simple when you have a satellite in the space. The energy can be from the solar
Free.
panels,
Absolutely right.
and
OpEx of it is zero. That you have absolutely nailed it. If you look at terrestrial data center, there's a capex. and there's an OpEx of maintaining the data center, right? Not remove the humans, but then from energy bill, electricity bill, thermal cooling, maintenance of the solar farm, security, and all that. Space, mein you put a capex, OpEx is zero.
Yeah, yeah, and it's very simple to communicate with the satellite as well without any wear and so on. So yeah, I mean, I think that's the future. I
That's
just
the bet I'm trying to take.
have one last question before we close. Uh, what do you think is the process of entrepreneurship now? So I think entrepreneurship as a terminology has evolved over the years. Uh, Probably 100 years back, it was all about the idea, be it Henry Ford coming up with the idea of assembly line or some other inventor. So it was all about invention, creating new things. Then it became about execution. I think, which is the current trend. Everybody has a good idea, but whoever executes it fast or maybe more efficiently, they will be the winner. But it's also changing with the AI agents coming in. So AI is taking up all the execution. Now it's about something else. So what is the future of entrepreneurship as per you?
No, so I think you only said it. It's all about, so it was idea initially, then execution. Now it is the speed of execution.
Hmm.
It's just the speed of execution. Because of these tools, AI tools, the same execution can be 100x faster. So if you look at last 6 months, the number of billion-dollar companies that have come up in this industry, right? That is, Lovable goes to this from $100 million revenue in
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
right? The speed, and that is the new age we live in. You can't say I will take 6 months to build my product anymore. You have to build your product in a month. With the name बनाओ तो कोई और बना लेगा तब तक launch कर लेगा and then you're done. The consumer today is getting exposed to so many new use cases so fast that
mm,
if you are a entrepreneur who's trying to get that same mind space of the consumer, you have to be super fast. And not just build your product, your product iteration needs to be super fast. Your
mm,
product releases cannot be now once in a year. Your
right.
product release has to be like in months' time. Over time, it'll go to weeks. That is how
Hmm.
fast, because consumer has no loyalty. I mean, consumer never had loyalty, right?
Yeah.
To, and the loyalty has been coming down over time. पहले था ऐसा कोलगेट यूज करता तो बंदा अभी भी कोलगेट यूज करता है, right?
Hmm.
Now that in the FMCG sector, there's so many, I don't even know the half of the brands in FMCG, right? Where the consumer loyalty was earlier maximum.
Hmm.
Look at the clothing industry, right? पहले था only few select brands, right? Now with this all this sheen, whatever the thing is, like the
Yeah.
fast moving fashion, you call it. It's going crazy. There's no brand loyalty. The consumer wants difference. The consumer wants fast. This convenience has taken over, right? The consumer really wants ki मेरे को जल्दी value prop दो and I use it, I get lost. And I want something new every time. I want something different. I want something new. The Gen Z, the Gen Alpha, they want something different all the time. They
Hmm.
don't want to get stuck to one thing all the forever. So yeah, speed of execution, and
Got
that is what people should challenge themselves. So when now you're an entrepreneur, you're thinking time, again outside of fundraising, right? Let's not get there. To execute your idea, you have to. If you think you should take 3 months, rule of thumb, half, like make it down by 50%. And always set, like always undercut yourself in
it.
your head. If you truly believe it's going to take 3 months, try to finish in 1.5 months. So that is important. Try to always outpace your own hypothesis. That's
Hmm.
the only way you will win, because you never know what two people in garage in outside India is building. You've heard the story, no? Somebody built DocuSign in 2 days, and
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
big case happened. DocuSign filed a case against them. ऐसे कैसे? And of course, DocuSign lost the case. But a developer built DocuSign in 2 days, and he got like, and that led to a lot of loss for DocuSign, revenue loss for DocuSign.
Right.
And it's a simple value prop. DocuSign cannot sit on the fact that, oh, I built a product, लोग ऐसा signature करेंगे and I built it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't. You have to innovate. You have to keep innovating. So basically, your idea and your product is no more your differentiator, long-lasting differentiator. Your
Hmm.
speed of execution is the only long-lasting differentiator in today's world.
Yeah.
आपने बना लो, हो गया, वो हिस्ट्री हो गया, अभी लॉन्च कर लिया. अब उसके बाद क्या? What is the new feature? What is the new feature? What is the new feature?
Yeah.
That what. So you have to always ensure the competition is catching up.
Got it. Yeah. I think that's so true. All right. On this note, we will close the discussion. I know we went overboard with the time, but
Oh, wow.
yeah, it was such an interesting conversation. Thanks for joining us, Ronak. Was a
Thank you
pleasure
so
to
much,
have you
man.
on our platform, and kudos to the work. Kudos to you for the work that you are doing. Thank
It's all the team. Thank you so much, man. Thank you.
thank you.